Ladies and gentlemen, it's John the Ninja live in the dojo, aka the Dojang, aka the John the Ninja Studios. If you haven't figured out it's my bedroom yet, shame on you. And today we're talking about concert number 4 on the concert resume list. Super excited because it is the WMMRBQ 2014. Me, my buddy Zach, and Greg, and Walter, Zach's uncle, went to this show. So what ended up happening was I wasn't going to go to the show initially. I heard the lineup. The lineup of guys going to the show and bands was amazing. They had Rob Zombie as the headliner. They had Volbeat. They had Jason Bonhom. They had John the Conqueror. They had Fuel. And they also had Jim Brewer. It was an epic day of rock music. And I was thinking about it. I was like, nah, you know what? I don't need to spend the money. It's okay. So we're at Greg's house. Greg just got back from basic training in the military. So we're all happy and excited to see him so many times at his apartment. Just pure debauchery. Drinking, partying, having a great time. All in good Christian fun. But man, you want some good stories? Talk about Greg's place. It went down there. And it was always good, clean fun. Unless you woke up with a hangover. But that was before I started drinking. So anyway, we're at Greg's. We're happy to see him. And Zach's like, yeah, I'm going to the WMMRBQ, and you guys might want to go. It's going to be a good show. So I was like, okay, well, you know what, Greg, you just got back. Let me look into it. We looked into tickets. Oh, my God, they were expensive. But you know what? I was like, you know what? I'm working. At the time, I was working at my first job in King of Prussia, a place called Garage, a woman's clothing store. Now, to explain, I have a friend named Melissa who I love dearly, and I shouldn't have been a bitch. I should have asked her out. But the point is, she needs someone to cover her hours while she was gone on vacation. Black Friday hours and Christmas hours. So I came in. It's me and 3 other dudes. We're working. We're helping out. They're like, hey, you guys looking for a job? I'm like, yeah. So we all applied. I'm the only one who passed. Yeah, the background check and all that, I was the only one that got in. So I ended up being the only guy working at the store. Learned it wasn't for me. Not a clothes guy, especially in women's clothing. But it was a good experience, and it gave me the money to pay for the show. This is before I really had real expenses. You know what I'm talking about, people. So I said, okay. I bought the tickets. They were right behind the pit. I want to say 4 rows back behind the pit. Really, really good seats. So we get together. We go to Zach's uncle's house. He drives us over to what was the Susquehanna Bank Center. Used to be the Tweeter Center, but now is the BB&T Pavilion in, I want to say, Camden, New Jersey. Yes, indeed. My mind kind of went blank on me. So we show up. The guys are tailgating, of age to drink. Don't worry. And, I'm just enjoying myself. It's my first rock concert without my dad, and it is my first festival-type show. So you're going to see a whole array of different people, different likes, different things that you've never seen before. So we're enjoying ourselves. And, we walk in as John the Conqueror is playing, and Walter hates Fuel. Hates Fuel. So I'm like, hey, can we go see Fuel? He's like, I don't want to forget to fuck him. Whoa, I don't know where that came from, but I'm going to go see a couple. So I got to catch Hemorrhage and a couple other songs. And then one of the fun bands to see was Jim Brewer. He also had the guitarist from Rob Halford's band, Halford, there. I don't know his name, but you know who I'm talking about if you look him up. Do diligence. Find out who he is. He's a kick-ass guitarist. But he does this fun, I would say, comedy routine with rock. So he's like, got songs. Let me pull it up for you since we actually have them here. Like Heavy Metal Man, It's 4 a.m. and I'm all banged up. The funny one was Sugar Rush. It's like when your kids eat a lot of sugar and they're on the sugar rush. It sounded great. It's like, Sugar Rush! So I got to see Jim Brewer. Another one that really was kicking ass, and this is why this MMRBQ was really good, because all the headliner bands, all the big bands, were really, really exploding. Might have been around for years, might have been known, but this was their time. This was their moment in the spotlight. And the band that we saw next was the Dropkick Murphys, when Signed and Sealed in Blood was dropping. So they had The Boys Are Back, they had Rose Tattoo out, which is still a big hit. And they just tore the place down. They even gave them, I want to say, 10 extra minutes because the show was so energetic. It was such a good time. You could just see the whole crowd enjoying themselves. And if you know anything about the MMRBQ, the first half of the day is general admission. You can go wherever you want as long as there's a seat. And then the second half, that's when you go to your seats. That's where you have, the people that paid for the pit and then the regular seats and then the people in the lawn in the back. So first half, Dropkick Murphys are, finishing the first half. It is blitzkrieg bop in there. People are running around. They're having a great time. It was so cool. Let me see what they played. The Boys Are Back are started. Don't Tear Us Apart. Going Out of Style. Prisoner's Song, which was good. The State of Massachusetts. 6 was The Walking Dead. Oh, yeah. The Irish Roller, 7. Out of Our Heads, 8. Rose Tattoo. I remember he's saying this wasn't popular with the younger kids. I'm Shipping Off to Boston was 10. And the best part about that song, there was really a guy who was an amputee in the crowd. So when they found him, he took his they saw him and he took his leg off and was hanging. So they brought him up on stage, and he was just on stage with his leg hopping up and down, just having a ball. Concert stuff you see every now and again. 11 was Taking Care of Business. 12 was We're an American Band, and then 13, of course, was Blitzkrieg Bop. Those were the songs they gave them the extra time for, because they were like, hey, can we keep going? Can we get more time? And they said yes. So one of the most coolest concert moments I've ever seen, because that's where you see a band really take over. You know, you hear about Queen taking over Live Aid. It's like, oh, they just came and they stole the show. That was the Dropkick Murphys for this show, and they did not disappoint. So after that, you know, it was, okay, it's halftime, we're enjoying ourselves still, and it did rain that day. The one thing I remember, because it always rains at the WMMRBQ if you're familiar with the event. If not, it's fine. But it rained earlier, and then as soon as it was the second half, Dropkick Murphys came out and all, cleared up beautifully. Not an issue whatsoever. Clear blue skies. So next was Jason Bottom's band. So, you know, I go into the crowd. I'm looking for our seats now. I've never been to the Susquehanna Bank Center for a concert. I went once with my mother for the Philly Orchestra practice. They did practices, so my mother took me with my school, and it was really cool, but I haven't been there in years. That was like when I was in 4th, 3rd grade. So we walked on down, and I'm looking for Greg. I'm texting him. I still have a flip phone at this point. I was like, hey, man, I can't find you, but I'm looking for our seats. So I find some seats. I'm standing there, and he's like, bro, you're in the wrong seats. I'm like, the F you talking about, bro? Turned out I was a good, like, 10 rows behind where we were supposed to be. So I was like, oh, shit. All right. So walked up, super close. It was great. And then it turned out the seats next to us were empty. So Zach and Hackett and Walter walked over, and we all sat together. So watched Jason Bottom, really cool experience. Never saw, like, the Led Zeppelin songs live, so that was nice to see. He went through Rock and Roll, Black Dog, Immigrant Song, Over the Hills and Far Away, The Ocean, Since I've Been Loving You, When the Levee Breaks, Kashmir, and A Whole Lot of Love. Next, it was showtime for the band we like to call Volbeat, off their Outlaw Gentlemen and Shady Ladies, or Dames. I believe it's Dames. No, it is Shady Ladies. This is a very old cowboy type album. If you haven't listened to it, it's also good. But anyway, you know, it's a lot of excitement. They're doing really, really good. I gotta remember the song. It was Heaven Nor Hell, I think it was. Yeah, Heaven Nor Hell came out, I want to say, like a year later. A year prior to, sorry. And that's what pretty much catapulted them to be like this rock star band now that everybody knows, because they've been around since, I want to say 2005. I know they've been around since 2007-ish. So, if I'm wrong, correct me, comments. They're coming out, we're getting ready, and every now and again, I like to look at the back of the stage, look at the sides, and see what's happening, you know, see how the bands are getting ready, if they're going to run out, if they're ready to just walk out. So I see the drummer, and I'll never forget this. I see him walking to the drum set. If you're at the drum set, this is what he's doing. I'm like, oh, shit, it is about to go down. This dude is ready. He is prepared. It's about to be a fun show. And let me tell you, it was. I didn't know Rob Caggiano, who was formerly in Anthrax, had joined Volbeat at the time. So when I saw him, I was like, because that dude, he just rips noodles left and right. It was quite the excellent show. It started with Doc Holliday, Radio Girl, $16, personal favorite song of mine, Lola Montez, Sad Man Tongue, Into the Ring of Fire, little snippets of South of Heaven, and then Dead But Rising, which still a good song. Still Counting, The Hangman's Body Count, which was the song I was waiting for, Pull of Booze, 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 My Body, which is also a cover, Heaven Nor Hell, Warrior's Call, and then The Mirror and the Ripper, which, again, great show. But the one who really, really set it off, Rob Zombie. If you've never seen Rob Zombie, you don't have to like metal, you don't have to like rock and roll. Rob Zombie is such a showman. He has created such a great environment, great music. Even if it's not your forte, he's still worth seeing. He's funny, he's smart, he's just a normal guy dressed up in makeup, basically. But a show worth it nonetheless. They came out Star Spangled Bannered with We're an American Band. Now, John 5 is one of the best guitarists in the world. So if you haven't, I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on the show explaining how good he is. Yeah. So definitely, Star Spangled Banner, Super Beast, Living Dead Girl was 4, Dead City Radio, which I never heard before. That was a great one. There was a drum solo, then More Human Than the Human. 8 was Sick Bubblegum. 9 was Pussy Liquor. 10, Never Gonna Stop. Then a special thing happened. So there was a lot of rumors that day that Peter Criss was at the actual MMRBQ, and we're like, well, maybe he might be. Kiss was, I don't know if they were up for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame at that time, but nonetheless, they were there. It's like, yo, if Peter Criss comes out and a Rob Zombie, sure enough, we got Peter Criss. So they brought him out and they played God of Thunder. And I'm a big God of Thunder fan. I like Kiss. I didn't like them as much back then, but God of Thunder was my jam. So when Peter Criss came out, you're like, oh, damn. Now, the funny thing was they did, you could hear him playing, but they didn't put him on mic. So him and Rob Zombie's drummer were playing together, but it's obvious when you see the video, he's not mic'd. You can't hear his drums. Now, luckily, he plays them so hard and so loud that you can hear a little bit because of the other microphones picking it up. But for the most part, he was on mic. But he looked cool as hell. It's like, he got into it. He had a groove. Go watch the video. You'll see it. It's still up on YouTube. And then Thunder Kiss 65 guitar solo with Rob Zombie actually grabbing a light and going out into the crowd. That was really cool. Oh wait, hold on. Oh, I'm sorry. 11 was Thunder Kiss 65 guitar solo. God of Thunder was 13. That's my bad. Yeah, that's close enough. Thunder. Anyway, and then they ended it with Dragula, which is, again, a great song. So, ended up leaving that night just thinking, wow, that was really cool, festival vibe. It was just nice to be in an environment where you got time to conversate with people that think like-minded with you. You got to see a whole bunch of bands. It wasn't like, oh, they played some good songs. And no, it was like this whole day was pretty lit. So, went home, enjoyed that show thoroughly. I'm pretty much good on that. That was a great concert experience, and I'm happy I was able to do that for my friend Greg. Just come back and hang out with the boys again, because 2014 at this point, it's, I'm gonna say it's been an interesting sophomore year without Greg. It was really brutal for some. For me personally, it was really brutal, and that was just a nice little, just take it in, relax a bit, let it out. So that was a good one. Stay tuned next time for the next Concert Resume show. As always, whatever YouTuber says, like, share, just respond, blah, blah, blah. If anything, be smart, be kind, and God bless. Stay out of trouble, people.